Aita for secretly planning a surprise birthday party for my son because my wife always makes his feel like an afterthought. I, 38M, have 3 kids, 2 daughters, 15 and 12, and a son, 10. In the interest of privacy, Ava, 15, Lily, 12, and Caleb, 10, not their real names. This might take a while, but I honestly need to vent. I love all my kids equally, but if I'm being honest, our household doesn't always feel equal, especially when it comes to how my wife, 36F, treats our son compared to our daughters. My wife is incredibly close to Ava and Lily. And I get it, she connects with them via fashion, makeup, high school gossip, and girl stuff. It's fine. But it's built up over the years into overt favoritism. She gives them more leeway, buys them costlier items just because, and practically never disciplines them the same way that she disciplines Caleb. For example, Ava hasn't done the dishes in probably a year. Caleb, meanwhile, is to take out trash, vacuum, and do yard work. My wife brushes it under the rug with, he's a boy. He needs the discipline. The girls are more fragile. That line never really sat well with me. But what's been irking me the most recently is the way she handles birthdays. For Ava's birthday last year, my wife rented an outdoor party space and hosted this enormous boho picnic affair with fairy lighting, Ava and her girlfriends in matching outfits, and an actual photographer. Lily did a spa-themed slumber party with full-on decor and personalized robes for everyone. Caleb, last year, got a supermarket cake, pizza, and a happy birthday sign that we neglected to tape up straight. And it wasn't that we didn't have money, we did. She simply said, he doesn't care about that sort of thing like the girls do. But I observe the way Caleb looks at their birthdays. He hasn't ever explained it, but I am certain he notices. And he deserves so. So I've started secretly planning a surprise birthday party for him. Me alone. I booked time at his favorite trampoline park, reached out to a couple of his closest friends at school, and I'm collecting party decorations around his favorite video game. I went as far as to ask him, casually, if he'd order what kind of cake if he could have any cake on earth. His face lit up with a gigantic grin as he said, chocolate cake topped with cookies. Plain. I haven't spoken to her about it. I know she's going to be angry. She gets ridiculously possessive over planning birthdays, but the thing is, when it comes to Caleb, she really doesn't go to the effort. She just knocks something together at the last minute and acts like that's all he's ever actually wanted. I will let her know the night of the party. It's not a matter of playing games of power. I just didn't want her to shut it down without allowing it to have a chance. I want this one thing for him to be something memorable. I want him to be made to feel as precious as his sisters are. Because he is. But now I'm second guessing. I know she's going to accuse me of blindsiding her or trying to make her look bad, or playing favorites with Caleb. The irony there. I'm not trying to turn this into some parenting war. I'm just tired of watching him shrink into the background while his sisters get to shine. I know it'll cause tension. I just don't know if I'm doing the right thing. TLDR. My wife always throws amazing birthdays for our daughters but barely does anything for our son. I've been quietly planning a big surprise party for him by myself so he finally feels seen. I haven't told her yet because I'm scared she'll shut it down. AITJ? Update. Hi again, everybody. I just wanted to thank you all for the responses, advice, and encouragement. I wasn't expecting the kind of response I got on the first post. I've been reading hundreds of comments over the last day or so, and many of them touched me deeply. What struck me most was how many people who mentioned abuse. I didn't use that word at first. I was likely too close, too used to the dynamics of our household. But when I considered it from an external point of reference, if I'd heard another father describing the same situation with his wife and kids, I would have said abuse too. At least to Caleb. So, I talked to her. I brought it up last night, just me and my wife sitting in the kitchen after the kids had gone off to their rooms. I was nervous, not that I was afraid of her or anything, but because I knew there was no way this could be said without things getting uncomfortable. But it needed saying. I started off slow. I said we needed to talk about Caleb. I said I thought we'd been hurting him without realizing it. I mentioned how she treats the girls differently than him, how they can skip chores, get special attention and gifts, while he's held to higher expectations and gets little of the same attention. First, she played dumb, like she really hadn't noticed. But when I gave her examples, she got defensive. She said I was being dramatic. That I was reading too much into things. That I was trying to make her out to be a bad mother. I said that wasn't the point, this wasn't criticism, this was a plea to do better for our son. So I finally just put it out there plainly, the way you're treating Caleb isn't favoritism anymore. It's abuse. That's when it blew up. She stood up immediately and said, "Excuse me? Did you just say I'm being abusive?" I told her that wasn't what I was doing. What I was doing was calling the behavior abusive, even if it wasn't intended to be. She started screaming. She said I was manipulative, that I was trying to make her out to be a monster. I was calm. I told her I wasn't trying to argue, I was trying to open her eyes. I told her if Caleb was one of the girls and we were doing her this way, she'd lose her mind. She said, well maybe that's because girls need more of their parents. Caleb's fine. I said, no, he's not fine. He's a 10-year-old boy watching his sisters get fussed over and pampered and he gets a half-eaten sheet cake and a, you're tough enough to not need this pat on the back. Then there was the fight about money. We couldn't afford a big party for him, she said, and I lost it. I reminded her of how much we had spent on Ava's birthday, on the matching outfits, the picnic setup, the photographer. I reminded her of Lily's monogrammed robes and handmade spa sets. I said, we had money then. So why don't we have it for him? We yelled. I am not proud of it. I don't yell, and it takes a lot to push me to that level. But I was frustrated. I was hurt. And I was tired of acting like this was normal. She finally told me, if you think you are such a better parent, then go ahead and have your little party without me. Then she threw a bag together, woke Ava and Lily up, and left. Told me she was going to her mom's house until I come to my senses. I haven't heard from her since. She didn't ask about the party. She didn't ask about Caleb. She just left. So, yeah, Caleb's birthday is tonight. He has no clue about any of this. I'm not ruining his day. His friends are still invited. The trampoline park is booked. The cake, chocolate with cookies on top, is in the refrigerator. He's so excited for it. He thinks his mom planned it. He said this morning, I can't believe I get a party like Ava's this year. My heart sank when he said that. But I smiled and told him he deserves it. I'll do a full update tomorrow after the party. I just needed to get this out. Thank you to everyone who helped me see what I did not want to see. Caleb is not overreacting. He is not imagining things. And he is not wrong to want to feel just as loved. TLDR, Update 1. I confronted my wife about how we've been treating our son and called it what it is, emotional neglect. I said we needed to do better, especially for his birthday. She got angry, said we don't have money to spoil him, and it turned into a heated screaming match. She ended up storming out with our daughters and went to her mom's house. Now I'm confused and hurt. I was just trying to stand up for our son, and she completely shut down and left. Hello everyone. Thanks to all those that made the time to read and comment on the last update. Your support really kept me grounded through all this. So here is what happened. Caleb's 11th birthday party was last night, and to my shock, my wife came to the party. The party itself was at a trampoline park, loud, wild, hot, and all things a child would love. Caleb was in his own little universe, bouncing and flipping and running around with his friends like the Energizer Bunny. His sisters, Ava, 15, and Lily, 12, were present as well and helped out a ton. Ava herded the kids and acted like a little parent, and Lily had a whole trampoline dodgeball party going on. They actually made it look like a family party even with tension. And yeah, the cake? Chocolate with cookies, Caleb's own personal dream pairing. He selected it weeks in advance and was stoked to see it. Monster smiles all around when we presented it. But the single instant that completely surprised everyone? My wife walked in about 30 minutes into the party with Ava and Lily in tow. No notice. No message. No forewarning. She just came in and just went ahead acting like nothing had happened. Like we hadn't blown up the night before. She even hugged some parents, even helped cut the cake. Didn't even mention our fight, just went into total mom at the birthday party mode. I was too stunned to say anything, especially in public. The most dreamlike was the way totally normal she tried to make everything. Then the big surprise I'd been plotting, the PS5. Caleb has been asking for one his entire life, and I've saved for months. We showed it to him right after cake, his face lit up like it was his birthday and Christmas combined. All the kids flocked around him, screaming and losing their minds. It was one of those pure joy moments that I'll never erase. Even she smiled as if she'd assisted in helping it happen. But I knew better. Now that all the things that VE happened, I still have no idea what this is going to be like from here on out. She didn't mention the fight. She didn't say sorry. She pretended none of it was real. And perhaps that was her attempt at not spoiling Caleb's day, or perhaps she's attempting to pretend we just gloss over the awkward stuff. But we can't. I'm not going to pretend like this isn't messy. Anyway, I'm glad Caleb had such a wonderful birthday. He deserves it. And we're not done celebrating yet. I've got movie tickets for him and a handful of his friends this Thursday, and I'm hoping that makes him even more happy memories to hold on to. This is probably not over yet, but I'll try to keep you guys in the loop. Thanks for holding on with me through this. Hello you all, people have been asking for an update, so I thought it would update you all, and to be honest it's not getting better. It's been 4 or 5 days since the party at the trampoline park. You'd think by then things would have blown over. That my wife and I would have had some sort of actual conversation, or that she'd give some sort of explanation, even a half-hearted one. But nope. She came home like nothing happened. Walked in like she didn't just ghost us before her own son's birthday and act like that was just normal. No explanation. No apology. No emotion. She just started wandering around the house again like a ghost who had decided against haunting the house after all. And what's been on my mind the most? It's the way she's been acting around Caleb. She hasn't spoken more than a dozen complete sentences to him since the party, and most were reprimands. I have no notion what hit a switch in her, but she's been acting like Caleb is a nuisance. And it's not in what she says, it's in how she looks at him. Or rather, the way she doesn't. She'll come into the room and say hi to Ava and Lily, ask them about their day, say how adorable they look, or just sit down and chat with them as she scrolls through her phone. Caleb will be sitting inches from her feet, and she ignores him as if he weren't there. He'll say, "Hi, Mom," and get nothing. No eye contact. No response. Just silence. The kind that stings more than anything she could say, and when she does talk to him, it's as if every word carries venom in it. Yesterday, Caleb was pouring himself cereal. No big deal, just doing his morning routine. The box slipped from his grasp and maybe 3 or 4 flakes spilled onto the floor. Before he even got down to retrieve them, she bursts from the hallway yelling, "Can you please not make a mess for 1 second? You'd think you were raised on a farm." I was in the kitchen too, watching the entire scene. And Caleb, he didn't even bat an eye. He just went silently and grabbed the cereal, put it in the garbage, and said, "Sorry." No attitude. No sarcasm. Just serenity. Like he's discovered that quiet is better around her these days. Another example, he leaves his hoodie on the couch. By the way, his sisters always do this. She passes by and grumbles loudly so he hears, of course. Why bother cleaning up after yourself when someone else will do it for you, right? He gets up, takes the hoodie, and folds it on his bed. Not one word. And the silence from him is reported to be killing her. The more he keeps still, the more she seems to snap. It's as if she wants him to blow up so that she can justify what she's doing now. He is not going to let her have that. And I see him shrinking. Not in spirit, he's still my hard, smart boy, but he's pulling back. Hanging around more in his room. Glued to his PS5 or drawing in his notebook. Just avoiding her. Because what else can he do when your own mother makes you feel like a burden? I couldn't let this go on. So I accused her of it last night. We were in the kitchen after dinner. Children were in bed. I turned to her and said, "Why are you treating Caleb like he doesn't even exist?" She hung there for a second, like she figured I would just drop it unsaid. Then she laughed and said, "What are you talking about?" I did not back down. You know what I'm saying. You act like he doesn't even exist, and when you do notice him, it's just to criticize or yell at him over little things. You're not even covert anymore. She rolled her eyes and folded her arms. That's absurd. I treat them all the same. No, I replied, you really don't. You're reading into things, she snapped. Caleb has been disrespectful and moody of late. I shot her the evil eye and retorted, he's not being disrespectful. He's being quiet. Because every time he says or does something, you jump down his throat. She said nothing for a second. Then dodged again, blamed his tone, said maybe he's going through a phase or something. I kept pushing. I asked her what he did to get targeted. I asked her how she would like it if her mom did not acknowledge her for days and yelled at her every time she asked a simple question. Her response? I'm done having this conversation. And she walked away. Since then, she's doubled down. Still not even acknowledging him. Still acting like Ava and Lily are precious and Caleb is just in the way. But something new has developed. She's getting loud. Shouting at him for nonsense. The other night she screamed at him for walking too heavy up the stairs when she had a headache. Another time, she scolded him for asking what was for dinner with an attitude, even though his voice was calm and polite. It's like now that she knows I've noticed, she doesn't care about hiding it at all. But Caleb? He still won't give her what she wants. He is still cool. Withdrawn, yes, but tough. The sort of toughness no child should ever need to have, but has. And I made him aware the other night, him and me by ourselves, that I notice all. That I've got his back. That he is loved. And that all of this isn't his fault. That I know something's broken in her. I don't know what shattered it. But the damage it's causing our son? That's one thing I will not remain silent about.